Some consider Latin to be a dead language, yet we use so many Latin phrases in English. In this video, I'm going to discuss 4 of them: in vino veritas, viva voce, suo moto, and mea culpa. Do keep watching, but first, if you haven't already, please subscribe to The English Nut on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Thank you. This phrase was mentioned by Krishna Kumar N.V. in vino veritas. It is an old Latin phrase that means in wine there is truth. People are more likely to be open or truthful when inebriated. They are more likely to reveal their hidden thoughts and desires when drunk. The equivalent phrase already existed in Greek. Greek historian Herodotus, who lived in a Greek city that was a part of the Persian Empire, wrote that if Persians made a decision while under the influence of alcohol, they made it a point to reconsider it when sober. A wise policy, I would say. The phrase was mentioned by Dutch humanist Erasmus in Adagia, his monumental collection of Greek and Latin adages published at the turn of the 16th century. A longer version of the Latin phrase is in vino veritas, in aqua sanitas. This means in wine there is truth, in water there is good sense. Sanitas can also be translated as good health. Either way, the phrase makes good sense. The French version of in vino veritas clearly expresses the intent of the phrase, ce que le sobre tient au cœur et sur la langue du buveur. It translates as what the sober hold in their heart is on the drinker's tongue. Here's how you can use the phrase. At the bachelor party, plenty of truths tumbled from tongues loosened by wine. As they say, in vino veritas. I plied him with wine because I wanted to get the truth out of him. In vino veritas. There is, it turns out, much truth in the phrase. Viva voce is a Latin phrase that literally means with living voice. In English, it is used in the sense of word of mouth. It stresses that something is oral rather than written. It typically refers to an oral exam for an academic qualification and is often shortened to just viva. Zeba was more nervous about the viva voce examination than the written one. After his lecture, our teacher conducted a viva voce test to determine if we had absorbed what he taught. My viva voce is tomorrow, so I'm going to study all night. Viva voce is not always about oral tests. Here are some examples of its usage in other contexts. The committee members dispensed with the ballot box and held the election viva voce. The policeman provided evidence viva voce at the trial. When we finally met, she told me of her romantic feelings for me viva voce. Suo moto is a Latin legal term that literally means by its own motion. The Indian judiciary takes up certain cases suo moto, that is, of its own accord, without any petition being filed by an aggrieved party. That is because the country's high courts and Supreme Court have the constitutional mandate to act on their own to protect the fundamental rights of the people. If the courts become aware of an injustice being done to an individual or a section of society, they can take suo moto cognizance of it and direct the relevant authorities to conduct investigations and take necessary action. Here's how the term is used in a sentence. One of the first cases to be taken up suo moto was to address pollution in the Yamuna River. In 2020, many cases were taken up suo moto to deal with the fallout of the pandemic. He had used his power to hear cases suo moto in order to take on controversial cases involving women's rights. Judges can take suo moto cognizance of reports in newspapers and initiate public interest litigation. The Chief Justice of the High Court took suo moto notice of the killings and issued notices to the federal and provincial governments in the wake of the attack. The Supreme Court has directed the police to take suo moto action in cases of hate speech, regardless of religion. If you follow the news in India, you will come across the term suo moto quite often. This phrase was brought to my attention by Shrikant S. Mea culpa. This is Latin for my fault or my mistake. The phrase is used as an acknowledgement of having done wrong. The film star offered a mea culpa during the press conference. The minister's public mea culpa did not satisfy his critics. Your mea culpa means a lot to me. I forgot to acknowledge your contribution. Mea culpa. He ate his roommate's pizza and wrote mea culpa followed by a smiley on the empty box. As you can see from these examples, mea culpa can be used in serious situations as well as in a more casual way. The culpa in mea culpa is also connected to English words like culpable and culprit. Culpable means deserving blame and culprit means a person guilty of something. In these words as well, you can see that culpa is about doing something wrong. Mea culpa is a part of a Roman Catholic prayer called Confiteor. It is a prayer that's said to confess one's sins and seek forgiveness. The prayer contains the phrase mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. This means through my fault, through my most grievous fault. This is one of the oldest known uses of the phrase. In vino veritas, viva voce, suo moto and mea culpa. These are the 4 Latin phrases I discussed in this video. If there are other Latin phrases you would like me to cover, do mention them in the comments section. I'm the English Nut. Bye for now.